Welcome to today's Explainer. You know, we're skipping the usual intro fluff today because we stumbled onto something absolutely fascinating. We're going to break down exactly how the Argentina national football team completely transformed. We're talking about their evolution from their 2022 World Cup peak in Qatar into a hyper-athletic juggernaut purpose-built for the 2026 World Cup. It's an incredible lesson in how to never rest on your laurels, and we're going to see exactly how they pulled it off.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just listen to this quote. There was blood in the water, and we went for it. That incredibly chilling line comes straight from Argentina's head coach, Lionel Scaloni, right after their dramatic 2026 World Cup semifinal comeback against England. It just perfectly captures the completely ruthless, relentless mentality this squad has. When they sense vulnerability, they go for the throat.
Part 1. Epic Squared. The Comeback.
So, let's set the scene here. Argentina is playing in Atlanta, and they are literally staring elimination right in the face, down 1-0 to an Anthony Gordon goal. Now, given the deeply rooted bad blood between these two nations, the intense physicality wasn't a shock to anyone. But the first 30 minutes, it was an absolute tactical grind. 19 fouls and 0 shots. That's actually a 60-year World Cup first. Both teams were completely stifled early on by the relentless fouling and constant delays, which is really just a tactical reality when this fierce rivalry plays out.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happened once Argentina went behind. They didn't panic for a second. They just took complete control. Look at how they dominated the underlying stats. They punished England's deep defensive block with a massive 64% possession and an expected goals of 1.84 compared to England's 0.53. They essentially ground their opponents down through sheer, suffocating possession and relentless chance creation.
And that total dominance was driven by one number, 104. That is the match-high number of touches registered by Enzo Fernandez. I mean, the guy was a machine. He misplayed only 2 of his 84 passes the entire night. And, of course, it was Fernandez who struck that exquisite 85th-minute equalizer from distance. That massive moment completely set the stage for Lautaro Martinez's 90-plus minute stoppage time winner, with none other than Lionel Messi pulling the strings and assisting both goals.
Part 2. Masters of Mental Warfare. Because beyond the stats, this team has a secret weapon.
You see, tactical adjustments only get you so far. Argentina's true foundation relies on an impenetrable, collective psychological edge. And that edge is perhaps best embodied by their goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez. Earning the nickname the Machiavelli of football, Martinez uses highly calculated, totally unpredictable tactics to get inside the opponent's heads. His legendary antics, like his heroics in the 2022 shootout against France, essentially set the tone for the entire squad. It establishes a culture of total fearlessness and calculated intimidation from the very back of the pitch.
If you neutrally break down his specific psychological tactics during high-pressure moments, a clear 3-step pattern emerges. First, he claims the penalty box, arriving before the opponent to establish it as his territory, exactly like he did against Hugo Lloris. Second, he'll demand the referee check the ball placement to stall the taker, a tactic he used on Kylian Mbappe. And third, he actually throws the ball away, forcing players like Aurelien Tchouameni to go fetch it. It's just a strictly calculated method of disruption designed to break the concentration of whoever is taking the penalty.
But that mental fortitude doesn't stop with the goalkeeper. Out on the pitch, it's enforced by Rodrigo de Paul, known as El Motorcito, or the Little Engine. He's effectively known as Messi's bodyguard. De Paul's absolute willingness to do all the dirty work, to tackle hard, and to fiercely defend his captain provides the vital physical and emotional heartbeat for this entire team.
Part 3. Scaloni's Tactical Revolution. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it reveals the secret blueprint of Scaloni's total overhaul.
Resting on the success of 2022 was never going to work for 2026. The 2022 team was built on a very specific premise. The midfield essentially sacrificed their own creative instincts to form a protective shield around Messi, securing possession and covering his defensive gaps. But the 2026 system? It's a completely different beast. It's a decentralized, hyper-modern machine focused on aggressive pressing and rapid vertical transitions. Why the huge change? Well, they learned a hard lesson from a suffocating 2023 loss to Marcelo Bielsa's Uruguay. Scaloni realized they desperately needed explosive vertical athletes to stretch their opponents. So the midfield had to evolve. Enzo Fernandez completely transformed from a deep-lying playmaker into a super aggressive vertical ball carrier who breaks lines. Meanwhile, Alexis McAllister, honing his craft at Liverpool, has transformed into a tactically elite hybrid midfielder capable of playing as a 6, an 8, or a 10. This right here gives Scaloni the immense tactical elasticity required to navigate a grueling 40-18 tournament.
Part 4. The New Golden Generation. Because this tactical revolution would literally be impossible without fresh legs.
Let's quickly run through the key young talents driving this new machine. You've got Alejandro Garnacho bringing this direct, totally chaotic force, running at defenses at 35 kilometers per hour, which just pins fullbacks incredibly deep. Then there's Claudio El Diablito bringing this low-gravity dribbling, a raw genius refined by Pep Guardiola himself. Add in Valentin Barco, the confident, arrogant, inverted left-back who constantly creates midfield overloads. And finally, Valentin Carboni, a 19-year-old absolute master of La Pausa, which is that rare ability to practically freeze time in the final third to pick out the perfect pass.
So, with all this explosive youth and hyper-athletic transition play happening, it begs the ultimate question. How exactly do you manage the most irreplaceable player in football history within this crazy new system?
Part 5. Messi, the tactical assassin. Because Scaloni isn't just surviving Messi getting older, he actively weaponized it.
We have to talk about the reality of this number, 39. That is Lionel Messi's exact age at the 2026 World Cup. It is simply physically impossible for him to be a 90-minute player across the massive, sprawling pitches of a North American summer tournament. The physical toll is just way too high. So, the crucial point is this brilliant dual-system masterstroke from Scaloni. System A is a high-octane, aggressive 4-3-3 press designed to just grind opponents down through collective energy when Messi is off the pitch. But then you have System B, the Messi contingency. This is a highly specialized shape used strictly for the final 30 minutes. That young athletic midfield engine room does absolutely all of the running, preserving Messi's physical integrity. He's deployed in a completely free-roaming role with absolutely zero defensive responsibilities, operating purely as a late-game tactical assassin.
And what binds this whole thing together is their collective mindset. Scaloni summed it up perfectly. They're playing like they're 7 or 8 years old. They fear nothing. By blending those battle-tested veterans with this fearless, explosive youth, Argentina has built a culture that simply refuses to crumble under the heavy weight of their own monumental legacy. In all of this tactical evolution, the mental warfare, the youth integration, it's led them to the ultimate test. Argentina will face the European champions, Spain, in the 2026 World Cup final over in New Jersey. It's an incredible opportunity for Scaloni's men to secure a truly historic 4th straight major international title.
Which leaves us with one final, truly fascinating question to ponder as we wrap up. Is this hyper-evolved, decentralized 2026 squad, with its tactical flexibility and explosive youth, actually more dangerous than the team that lifted the trophy in 2022? If the answer is yes, that is an absolutely terrifying prospect for the rest of the footballing world. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, keep learning, and as always, enjoy the beautiful game.